Hey everybody, it's Ian the Off Kilter Crafter. It is Friday night and we are here for another week. Can you believe another week has gone
What?
by
Wait, wait,
and we're
wait, wait,
what what
wait.
what's
What?
happening?
What the? What? What? Hi,
Hi
guys.
everyone.
Now this is literally me looking at the chat to see when everybody's like, "Oh,
I
hi! Oh
know.
my gosh,
I
what
know.
happened?"
Because y'all are 30 seconds delayed. So it's funny to something will happen. As Becca learned when she told me to look at her rack, it was a 30-second delay. And nobody saw it until 30 seconds later.
So funny. Hey,
Oh my
friends.
goodness. Yep.
Welcome to Friday night. I have got my friend Ian here with me today, and we are so excited to be able to bring this collab to you. When Ian was visiting me over the month of November, one of the things that we heard, oh, there goes the chat. One of the things that we
Yep.
heard very strongly from you is that you really liked it when we were on a live stream together and the banter that we had back and forth. And so, oh, yeah, I can't do that, but Ian can make all the effects happen. So
I can,
we
especially this one right here.
Aw, oh, he loves you. So obviously we have technology, we can make that happen, but I also didn't want to just do a live through Zoom. And so I've really been wanting to use this technology to do a live stream. And Ian's been kind enough to help me figure it out, make sure I got all the kinks worked out before we brought it to you. So hopefully you can hear him. Hopefully you can see him. Hopefully you can see me and you can hear me. This is the setup that we're going to have all night. It's just going to be side by side, and we're going to hang out with you and work on some projects. Ian, what are you going to work on?
First of all, I got to call out Sean's comment in the chat right now. He said, "Is Ian wearing a seatbelt or a racing harness?" Neither. Hopefully, there will be no chairs falling out from underneath me. But anyways,
I mean, you're
tonight
in
I'm
your
going to
own
be
home, so
working.
I'm not taking credit
I
for that.
am. I am, but it was funny because just yesterday I went to my guild meeting. My guild meeting was yesterday, and we were doing door prizes, and my name got called, and I went to stand up, turn around, and walk to go get my prize. And as soon as I stood up, my legs just got all tangled up in the chair, and I just sat right back down. And
Oh,
yeah, typical me. Anyways,
wait, no,
tonight
but
I'm going to
on
be
that
working.
on that note, can I tell you the story from last night? So, YouTube has
Yes.
released this new feature if you have a channel that allows you to showcase clips from your videos. And it's not clips that you made, it's clips that anybody has made. So, if I post a video and somebody thinks a segment of that video up to 60 seconds is worth sharing and they clip it down, it's still my video, it's still on my channel, but they can clip it and save it for themselves. Now everybody can see what other people have clipped. But you guys remember when
Yep.
Ian fell out of the chair the first time, not the second or 100th time, the first time, he
Right.
clipped it. And so when I turned that new feature on, I was like, Jason, look what I can do. So I went in the front room. He had never seen that clip. I played it for him last night. He laughed so hard.
I didn't realize he hadn't seen it yet.
Nope.
That's
So
funny.
if you guys
That's
don't
really
know what
funny.
we're talking about, after the live stream, go to my channel at the top of the page. I think there's I think there's a video or a clip that says something like Ian wasn't drinking. Just click on that. You'll see exactly what we've been talking about. And if you've seen it and you
Yep.
want to laugh again, go watch it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's why I clipped it, is because I knew it would be a funny one that would last forever. I'm gonna have to see what people, if there's any clips from my videos
Yeah.
out there. I'll check that out after the live and see what's going on. But back to the project that I have in front of me. This is my I'm calling it Rainbow Vortex. It is officially the color vortex from I almost said Cotton Cuts.
Legit
That's
kits.
not the one I was thinking of. Legit Kits. Thank you. From Legit Kits, I have been working to. I faced this quilt, and if you're not sure what facing is, it's basically you take the front and wrap it around to the back, and then you have to hand stitch, which we know hand stitching is a 4-letter word for me. I almost said 5-letter. I haven't been drinking tonight, I promise. It's a 4-letter word for me, but I have gone all the way around. I'm coming up on the last little bit. I do have a couple more places, like I need to put the sleeve on, I need to put the label on, all that kind of thing. So I'm just going to be working on hand stitching the back of it and getting that done so that I never have to do it again.
Well, I am happy to keep you company while you're doing that. And ironically, this was not planned, you guys, but I am also working on Legit Kits. So you guys can see hanging behind me is my lion. I will move out of the way. See, he's right there. His face is built. Now I'm working on his paws and the rock. There are
Beautiful.
8 rows. Thank you. There are 8 rows altogether. I am on row number 7, finishing up row number 7, and then moving into row number 8. And my goal is to have this bad boy pieced by the end of January. But if I'm being honest, don't tell anybody. I'd like to have it pieced by the end of the weekend. We'll
I
see
think you
what
can do it.
happens.
I
We'll
think you can
see.
do
We'll
it.
see. If the last row is anything like this one, it's going to take me another week or two, just because I get to it
It's
and
a
I'm like,
lot.
please be an easy row, and there's
Yep.
detail. So there's that.
Yep.
So
I love Legit Kits. I really do. They come out beautifully. I love everything about them. But as you get to the end of that project, you are done with it and you are so ready to move on to the next one. I got to call out Joan's comment really quickly because Joan said, I was so confused. I was ready to turn it off and start over. I'm glad I didn't. Glad to see you both tonight.
Tanya's asking, Becca, is there a possibility that when Tiff is staying with you, that you and her will be coming, will be coming my way to shop? So Tanya lives out in Harrisonburg, and I got to be honest, I don't know that that's going to be a possibility for us. She's coming in. I can't remember if it's Sunday or Monday before QuiltCon. I think it's Monday. We're
I think
leaving to
it's
go
Monday
to
if I remember.
QuiltCon. Yeah, I think so too. We're leaving to go to QuiltCon on Wednesday the 21st, and we'll be down at QuiltCon. And then we're coming back on Monday the 26th, and Ian will be in tow when we come back. But I do
Hmm.
have to work that week, so I'll have to go into the office and everything. And then that next weekend, Ian leaves bright and early on Sunday, and Tiffany either leaves Sunday or
Too
Monday. I can't
early.
remember. Yeah, right?
She's leaving Monday.
Monday.
She's
That's
leaving
right.
Monday.
He
Yeah, I
knows my
hated
plans
to
better
put
than
my
me.
flight that I do. I hated to put my flight that early, but unfortunately, that is the only one that was available.
Not worried
And
about it.
then I ended up. The funny part is, so Beetlejuice, the musical, is going to be in town. It starts
Ooh.
one day prior to me leaving, and ends the day that I fly back in. And my friend was like, "We're going to this, right?" And I was like, "Yes." I just got to figure out. I hadn't booked my return flight yet, and I was like, "I got to
Mhm.
figure out what I'm doing." And so we ended up booking. So I get in super early on Sunday morning, and then Sunday evening we're gonna go see Beetlejuice the musical. So super excited about that.
I love that now you have to clarify Beetlejuice the musical,
Hmm.
because in any other world it would have just been Beetlejuice. But
Yep.
here, it's no,
Yep.
you're not going to see my dog. So
Right.
to put the close a loop on that Saturday, that Saturday, the first Saturday in March, we're not going to be able to go anywhere because we're actually going to go to Mid Atlantic Quilt Show or Mid
Hmm.
Atlantic Quilt Festival. So chances are slim that we're going to be able to get out of our area very much. However, If any of you would like to meet Ian or Tiffany, I am sure we can arrange an evening meetup after work, because Ian also has to work during the day. He'll be
Yeah.
working remotely.
Yeah.
But if anybody is in the area and you want to meet the three of us and you can't make it to QuiltCon, we'll be more than happy to meet you. I don't think we're going to be able to come to you. You're going to have to come to us.
Yep.
So let us know. And also, Tiffany did mention when we were talking about I have to work, and she said, so it'll be Ian and Tiffy lives the week here at work.
Sometimes, maybe.
I
It
mean,
just depends on how busy my calendar is too, because
yeah.
we're getting into a kind of a busy period at work. But who knows? Wouldn't it be funny if we went live while you're at work?
I
And
mean,
it was funny when I went live the week of Thanksgiving when I was off, but you were working, and you told me how weird it was to see your see your
it
space and
was.
not have you in it.
It was definitely weird, and I am missing a piece.
Uh-oh.
I am missing piece I, which I know I just had because it was I
Uh-oh.
know it was the last one I pieced. Oh goodness. Oh, it's right here. I found it. Yay!
Good gravy. Speaking of QuiltCon,
Yeah.
I have some swag, and guess what? You're not going to be able to see it. I'm going to keep this one a mystery, but this package right here is these are my stickers. These are my swag that I'm going to be giving out. So if you are at QuiltCon and you want some swag, I have 50 stickers, actually a few less because I had a few people. Some of my friends locally were like, "You're giving me one of those, right?" I was like, "Yes, okay, all right." So I have a little less than 50, but I will have some swag to give out, and you will have to find us in person to see what it is.
Ian, I think you're going to have to get another 50
I
because
may have to.
Tiffany will have 100 stickers, I will have 100 stickers, and Donna will have 100 stickers. So you're going to
Uh-oh.
have to step it up. You're going to I
I
know this was
am.
your idea, but you're going to have to step it up, buddy. So and that's
Let's talk to Sticker Mule. When Sticker Mule has another sale on their stickers, I'll
all
do it
right.
then.
So we are all going to have different, and I haven't told Tiffany all of the details yet. So Tiffany, I've got you
Ah,
covered. Don't worry. But each one of the four of us are planning to bring a sewing themed sticker to QuiltCon, and each one of the four are unique. And it's not like I will tell you this: it's not a sticker that says the Off Kilter Crafter Ian. It's like
nope.
no, it's something fun that we like
Mhm.
sharing. It's not advertisement for our channels. We're not handing you business cards, although we have those while we're there too. So, by the way, gosh, I'm all ADD today. So, anyway,
Me
if you
too.
find
I
us,
know.
if you find us, just say hi and tell us you want a sticker, and we will give you a
Hmm.
sticker. But we have limited quantities, and
Hmm.
once we run out, the best I can give
They're
you is a picture
gone.
and a hug.
Yep, same here. Once they're gone, they're gone. I'll keep it because I ordered through Sticker Mule. You did too, I believe.
Yeah, I did.
I ordered through Sticker Mule, and one of the groups I'm in advertised. They were like, "Hey, everyone, heads up! Sticker Mule has a deal right now where you can get 50 stickers for $50. $50.
Nine
Excuse me, for
dollars.
$9.
Yeah.
$9. 50 stickers for $9." And I was like, "Heck yeah!" So if they end up putting one of those out there, and I can get it in time for QuiltCon, I will do it.
Awesome. So, what was I? Oh, the other thing that I was going to say is thinking of QuiltCon, some of the tips that I had from my first experience last year. The biggest one that I think would be helpful for anybody is if you're going, go to Vistaprint and print off just some economy business cards with like your name
Hmm.
and your email address and maybe whatever your social media handles are, your Instagram, your YouTube, whatever that is, and take those with you. You probably don't need more than like 100, so don't buy 1,000 unless you're somebody really big like Karen Brown or something. But
Right.
if just bring a handful of them because you're going to meet people at QuiltCon and you're going
Hmm.
to want to exchange contact information, and it will be so easy to just hand them that card and be like, hey, send me an email, let's catch up. You know what I mean? I wished I
Yep.
would have done that last year. I did not, and I have learned from that, and I will be doing that this year.
Shelly says Ian is sewing by hand and has like the open gaping mouth shock emoji. Yep, I sure am. I hate it. I hate doing it, but for this quilt, it needed it. There's no other way to do this. So yes, I am sewing by hand today, and it sucks.
Yeah.
I don't mean to disparage hand quilting or hand sewing. I appreciate everybody who does it. It hurts my hands so much doing it, and I'm not great at it. I am not
I'm not
great.
great at it either.
The regulation of these stitches is just gross.
A couple of questions in the chat. Oh wait, hold on. Back up.
Well done.
Terry says my husband works for Sticker Mule. They have promos all the time. But what I want to say to Terry is, your husband works for Sticker Mule. Can we just get 50 more stickers for $9 like before
Right.
QuiltCon? Could you work that out?
Can you hook us up? Can you hook us up, please? No, I'm kidding. That's awesome that he works for Sticker Mule. That's freaking cool.
Go ahead.
ahead.
No, I was just going to read chat.
No, keep going. Keep going. Read chat. Read chat.
Okay. Mary Rose Spriggs says, Becca, I had an idea for your set of pins. Could you paint different colors on each set, maybe with a permanent marker, red, blue, green? Then you could sort them more easily.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You could. You could. She's talking about the Gypsy Quilter pins, which I think I have. Yeah, I've already put them in my Notion drawer. If you go back to the live stream that I did with Tiffany, it kind of shows what I show the different pins that I have. So,
Catherine asked, Ian, is that quilt for use or for hanging on a wall? This will always be a wall hanging quilt. It was always intended to be a wall artwork piece. If you use this quilt, you can, but it's quilted to death in spots. So it's intended to be displayed rather than an actual using quilt.
well, in your vision for that quilt is shows.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to be
Sadly,
putting this one in lots of shows.
speaking of QuiltCon, this is a QuiltCon reject.
It is a QuiltCon
Wah,
reject.
wah. Yeah.
I know. I was so hoping that they would accept this one. I thought they just might, but unfortunately but it's funny because I've heard so many quilters who got rejected one year, the very next year they put the same quilt in for consideration and it gets in. So maybe I'll try again next year and see what happens.
Oh, Randy has just promoted herself to family because she just called me. Hi, Siri.
Hi. Yeah, Siri said
Randy's-
hi.
Oh, and now mine is listening, so that's great. First of all, I'm not Jason. Second of all, cancel. Siri canceled. Goodness gracious. Anyway, as I was going to say, Randy was like, hi, Becky, Ian, and everyone on the live. I'm watching while eating Chipotle. I plan to make a mug rug afterwards. I can't even talk. Mom is going around telling everybody that they're allowed to call me Becky.
Oh my.
And I'm telling her
I accidentally called you at once and as soon as it came out, I felt it wrong and I was like, oh no. Becca. Becca.
It's okay. Jason's dad, he was just so used to, like, if somebody's name is Rebecca, you call them Becky. Like, that was just his thing for forever. So that's what he called me. And I just when I was younger, I used to get really upset by that because I didn't like the way it sounded. And now maybe I've just not gotten as cranky in my old age. Now I just don't care. I'm just like, it's just a name. I'll answer to all of it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
I think my fingers are too long for hand sewing. I think is
I
what
could
it
see
is
that. I
because
could see that.
I get like talons because I'm having the way I'm holding it. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't learn the right way.
Hey, Ian, I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go really quick to my overhead. How do I want to do this? Because I don't want to create a whole new scene, but I can add a new source in here, which will keep you here with your audio. Somebody's asking for a couple tips. So I'm just going to do the overhead camera really quick. And
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
everybody, yeah, but you can still hear Ian. So let me
Yep.
give you what you're looking for. Somebody's asking for some information on legit kits. Let me fix this so that it's faced the right way. Okay, Ian, you still see my face. Sorry.
I do.
All right,
I do
so
still see your face.
so Terry is saying, Becca, can you show us one sheet of that pattern? Are the dark lines the section? So these gray lines that are going around each section, that's the seam allowance. And what's going to happen when you join these together is that seam allowance is going to match up. So, for example, I'm going to join these two pieces right now, and I'll zoom you in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I did rip out a little bit of the seam. That's totally fine. What I do when I join those two sections, it will give you, by the way, it will give you a map that will show you how all your pieces lay out. And you'll join them together, and it'll even tell you what order you're joining them together. So there's that. When you join them together, you're going to put them right sides together. And my tip, what I do is I take a pin, I find points where the fabric is going to match up. I can start over here in the corner. I poke it through that corner right there. And then I poke it through the corner on the other side. Oops. If I ripped the paper out, that can be a little problematic, but I will eventually. There we go. And I just want to make sure that the pin is through the point on both sides of the paper. And then I would do the same thing to the other side, although I feel like I'm doing something wrong here. Actually, I am. Hold on. A lot of times when I'm doing this, hold on. You know what? I'm giving you all these directions, and I think I was... Yep, that's exactly what I was doing. I was not paying attention to my guide. Let's try this again. Okay, I'm going to pick up these two pieces, join them together. I'm going to line them up this way. If you want to make sure that you're putting them together the right way, the other thing that you can do is flip them over from the fabric side and make sure that the patterns are continuing the way you would expect. And then you're going to take a pin, put it through this corner just like so, and then I'll put it through this corner, trying to get it right there. You see where it's coming out? I want it to go in and come out at the same spot on both the bottom and the top. I'm going to do that to both ends. That's going to line up the raw edges for me. Get in there. Get in the seam. And then the next thing that I like to do is find any intersections where the fabric is going to overlap, like this area, and just pin it so that I don't lose my point. And when I do that, I'm pinning in the same spot. So do you see how the pin is kind of coming through the tan in both areas? That's exactly what I'm looking for. If it was going through this, I would want it to be going like through the lighter fabric right next to the seam on both sides. Basically, I want it to be in the same exact spot when it's going through. And I feel like I'm just poking lots of holes in this fabric. That's okay. That's what happens. Once I have all of my pins in there, I push them all through and I leave them so that they're hanging straight up and down. And then I come in with a couple of clips and I put a clip around each of those pins. And then I just take my pins out. And I'll take this to my sewing machine and I'll stitch right on this line. I don't know if you can tell, but you have the dark gray going around the piece. I'll pull you in this way. Here you go. You have the dark gray going around the piece. That represents your seam line, but there is a black line right next to that gray area. That's where I'm going to stitch, is right on that black line. I hope that answered the question you had. All right. Yeah, we're back. You're back.
Katrina was asking, Becca, have you used floss to line up?
No.
I don't think I'm familiar
tell
with
us
that.
more.
Yeah. Tell us more.
Tell us
I don't
more.
think I've ever done that.
But you
Yeah.
know what I have done is when I'm not sure if a piece is going to line up, I will totally bring it to my machine. I'll turn my stitch length up to a 6 and I will sew after I've pinned everything together to make sure everything
Hmm.
lines up, open it up. If my points match, then I'll go back to my sewing machine and I'll rip that basting stitch out a few stitches at a time and sew it with my shorter, tighter stitch length.
Yep. I've done that before. Oh. I'm so like the end is in sight because I just have to make it to right here. So I have this much more, but also all of the corner pieces because there's an extra piece that you put over the corners. I still have to go back and do all the corners, and I still have to do the freaking sleeve for this one. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
And while you're doing that, I just want to show you that pinning. Look how perfect that came out. Do you see how this is continued over? That's what you want to do. If you're, when you're FPP, when you're joining your FPP sections, you want to focus more on where your fabrics are going to intersect than you do the corners. You can use the corners, absolutely, but it's more important that this match up than the ends over here match up because I can fix this when I join it somewhere else. So that's how I do it. By the way, after I sew it together, I do rip the seam allowance paper out and then I press this open. So, okay, I'm done being on overhead. You're welcome.
You're good. You're good. Angela says, Ian, I use compression gloves when I hand stitch. Fingertips are exposed. I may have to try that. Mary Rose says, Ian, does having an audience make it easier or harder to hand sew? It does neither, to be honest, because it's just for me it's terrible no matter what it is. I appreciate those who say that they enjoy it and it's like so relaxing for them. I can definitely see how it is. I just for me it's not my thing. It's not my thing. But I did learn how to do quilting sleeves so much easier. Bourbon Cotton and Bourbon has a PDF tutorial out on her website that you can download for free, and I've always had a problem with hanging sleeves. If you're unfamiliar with them, you have to put them on in order to be in shows usually. And it's a piece of fabric that goes on the back that forms a little uh, pocket that you can put a hanging bar through. So that way you can put the quilts up at the show. And it's hard because you have to basically form a D. One side needs to be flat up against the back of your quilt, and the other side needs to form kind of that round D so that way when the bar goes through it, it doesn't pull the top of your quilt over the bar. And I've always had a problem getting the extra fabric to make that D shape. And she has a really good tutorial PDF out on her website that walks you through the process of how to do that and how to keep that extra fabric to form the curve of the D.
Yeah,
That could be very
absolutely.
dirty.
You mentioned that before, and I couldn't
Uh-huh.
remember who did that, but I also remember when you said that, I was like, yeah, I never have a problem with my sleeves because I give them to Mary.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep.
I should probably take that class so that I can do my own sleeves.
Yeah, I found it a very helpful PDF, and I think I finally have gotten to the place where I feel more comfortable with the hanging sleeves and getting the right spacing on it.
Gotcha, gotcha. Joyce is saying that she received her prize package yesterday and she loved it. Thank you so much. You're welcome so much.
Sweet.
Sweet. Sweet. And we do want to
Awesome.
give, speaking of prize packages, because Mary is the prize ambassador,
Yep.
I just want to give her a shout out. I did see that she was in the chat. I know she's dealing with ADT right now, so she might be distracted. But though, for those of you that are curious how Mary is doing, Mary is settling into her new home. She has closed on her new home. She is officially in her house and she is working on unpacking all of the boxes.
Yay.
Yep.
Um,
Teresa's asking, what are those multicolored boxes on the shelf to your left? Those are my fat quarters. Fat quarters, half yard cuts, and charm packs. And they are the bright room medium boxes from Target. Bright room, they're like the like the bathroom storage medium boxes, I think. Go ahead.
I also, let's see, Nancy asked about the tutorial. It is not a tutorial video, it is a tutorial PDF. I just dropped it in the chat. I'm going to drop it one more time so that way it's not, because I sent it directly to uh, Nancy. But if you go into the chat, it takes you to the link for the cotton and bourbon tutorial for how to do a hanging quilt sleeve. And also, party in the house from Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. Hey,
Woo
Laura
woo.
Lynn.
Love her. You
Love,
guys
love, love her.
guys don't know who Mama Pop Quilt Shop are, first of all, where have you been?
Yeah.
Second of all, they do a live stream multiple days during the week, but the one that I know them for, or I learned about first, was their Saturday live stream. So I think tomorrow at 1 p.m. Make sure to check them out. Exclamation MPQS, Mom Pop Quilt Shop. We'll get you a link to their channel. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Teresa's asking if those bins are clear, and yes, they are.
Yes, they are. So the fabric that you see is actually the fabric that's filed inside.
And I know that because I was with you when you bought some of them.
I did. Yes, I did. Oh, you were. I was like, Ian,
Yes,
I
I
have an idea.
was.
You were like,
I was.
okay, tell me more.
Tell me more. Oh, Flat Jenny was there too, apparently.
But Jenny's always here.
Yeah.
How far, Tammy is asking, how far is the airport from QuiltCon? I don't know. No clue.
I don't know, but you're going to come pick me up, so.
I will tell you at QuiltCon how far it
Right.
was. I'm not flying in. I'm driving because it's about a 4 to 5 hour drive from here. It just didn't make any sense to fly in. By the time you get to the airport and everything, I could have just drove. So
Yep.
I'm driving in, and I will be picking Ian up. I would guess it's probably not too far. It's at the convention center in downtown Raleigh. So wherever, what are you flying? Are you flying into Raleigh, Durham?
Yes. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
be flying into Raleigh, Durham.
So I have no clue.
Yep.
I've never been to Raleigh. Don't know.
Speaking of QuiltCon again, we keep coming back to it, but I'm just so excited for it. I'm so excited. Did you see that you can download the QuiltCon app and start
Yes,
perusing through the app?
I actually did. And I've already put my
Sweet.
profile information in there. And I've
Nice.
already put my little picture in there. So, by the way, if you're going to QuiltCon, you should have an email that will tell you that it's time to download the QuiltCon app. And when you do
Mm-hmm.
this, you're going to be able to see everybody else that has downloaded the app and put their information into it. And you can message them through the app, which is kind of cool. You'll also be able to see a map of the convention center where all the exhibits
Mm-hmm.
are. You're going to see where the vendors are, all of that stuff. And you're going to see a schedule for every day of QuiltCon. And you can go through and favorite lectures that you're registered for, classes that you plan to take, or demos that you want to see happen so that you're reminded when those things are and you can stay on top of all the things that you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to miss at QuiltCon.
Yep. You can actually add them onto your calendar on your device. So that
Yep.
way it'll give you alerts and all that kind of stuff. I found that very helpful when I was at QuiltCon in 2022. I found it super helpful because I had 3 classes. I did 3 classes during QuiltCon. And so I added them into my calendar and was able to know when I needed to be at the convention center and where and all that kind of stuff. I also love, if you are interested in a volunteer opportunity, I highly suggest checking out, and I haven't done it yet, and I need to, but I highly suggest checking out volunteering for either putting up the quilts if you're going to be there a little early and taking down the quilts, because that is a lot of fun. You actually get up close and personal with those quilts. There is white glove. Everybody takes it very seriously. We're not just shoving them into bags and stuff like that. But it is a great opportunity to actually get up close and personal with those quilts and help take the show down. And then pack up all of the hanging materials for the MQG and QuiltCon. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can't make it there, Randy is asking this question, but just so everybody is aware, they have lectures all
Hmm.
4 days. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they are packed full of vendors, quilts on exhibit, classes to take, and lectures. In fact, the lectures go, every lecture is an hour and they go for 4 days, like just
Hmm.
constantly cycling a different speaker in. And they have a lecture, you do have to pay for the lectures, by the way, they're not free.
Hmm. Yeah.
But you can get an all access pass that'll let you go to all of them. And this year they are offering a streaming pass. So if you
Hmm.
can't go to QuiltCon and you want to just experience some of it, it's a couple $100. It is a little pricey, but you can pay that 200 whatever price tag it is to get a streaming pass for all 4 days, which I think is
Hmm.
phenomenal. So you can have a
Yeah.
little bit of QuiltCon from your home.
Yep. Absolutely. Somebody was asking where to go. Terry was asking, is QuiltCon always in Raleigh? No, it
Oh,
bounces around the country each year. It was in Austin in 2020. It was online for 2021. 2022 was in Phoenix. 2023 was in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
This year it's going to be in Raleigh, and then next year, 2025, it's going to be in Phoenix. So they
Yep.
kind of bounce it around a little bit. I'm waiting for them to get back to California. I think they did, was it Reno? I don't remember. It was somewhere on the West Coast. So I'm waiting for it to get back to the West Coast. I don't think I'm going to be going in 2025. I
I
kind
won't
of
be.
go every other year. Seems to be a good cadence for me. So I probably will not be going in 2025, but maybe 2026.
I will hopefully go in 2026, 2025. I will not be going, most
Yeah.
likely, because my travel time will already be taken. In February of 2025, we are planning a family trip to Orlando. So I'll be in
Woo-hoo!
Orlando. Yep.
That's
And
awesome.
then I'm really excited, though, because this year I've wanted to go to the Mid Atlantic Quilt Festival. It's in the
Mhm.
Norfolk, Virginia Beach area, which is just a few hours from me. Definitely doable for a day trip. A little bit tired, long day, but can be done. I've
Yeah.
always wanted to go, and last year I wanted to go, but I couldn't because it was at the same time as QuiltCon, but this year it's not. This year, QuiltCon is in February and Mid Atlantic Quilt Festival is in March. So
Mhm.
the QuiltCon is February. It officially starts February 21st, which is Wednesday with the award
Mhm.
ceremony. But the show is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the next weekend, which is that first Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't remember if March 1st. I think March 1st is Friday when they start. Maybe the show
Yes.
starts Thursday. I don't know if the Mid Atlantic Quilt Festival starts Thursday or starts Friday, but I will tell you with absolute certainty it is Friday, March 1st and Saturday, March 2nd, and Ian,
Mhm.
Tiffany, and I will be there Saturday, March 2nd.
Yep. Which reminds me, I really need because I'm going to try. I need to look at that time overlap because I've already entered this quilt into the Dallas Quilt Show, and I need to make sure that I can get it. If I enter it into Mid Atlantic, that I can get it back in time to put it into that show.
I submitted 2 quilts for consideration into Mid Atlantic, and we're supposed to hear something back at the end of this month. So I'm really, really excited to see if my quilts will be considered. I submitted I called it Ursa. Is that it? Yeah, Ursa, because that means it's Latin
Mhm.
for little bear, which is also named after the constellation. And then I also submitted the quilt that Stephanie Fulton and I kind of worked on together. We called it a flock of geese because it feels like every time I look at that quilt, all I see is flying geese.
There's a lot of flying
So
geese in that one for sure.
yeah, well, for sure was. So I submitted both of those. Don't know if they're accepted yet. I don't care if they're entered into being judged. I actually don't really. I'm not looking forward to them being judged, to be honest.
Yeah.
So if they're just on display, I will be more than happy with it. I just want to be there and be able to take a picture of me standing next to my quilt. That's all I care about.
Yep. Mid Atlantic, though, because I have entered, it's through a company that does it across the country. Mid Atlantic is one of them. South Carolina has one. California has one. I've entered with them 2 times now. It's the Marcusi's company is the one that runs it. I
Yeah,
think is
yeah.
their name.
Uh huh.
And their judges are pretty nice. I haven't had any problem with them. The notes that I've gotten back are for the most part they don't tear me apart. They're not mean. They're just like, hey, you could have done this better, but this was really good. So I've been pretty happy with the notes that I've received from them.
Cool.
So
Well, I
I
have
wouldn't
never
be
had a
too
quilt
worried.
judged. I've
Yeah.
never had a quilt
Yep.
judged. So
Yep.
I'm completely nervous about the whole thing. So it sounds like if I were to end up getting them accepted and they were judged, it sounds like this would be a really easy
Yes.
way to like
Yeah.
introduction, easy introduction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I haven't had I haven't heard of many quilts getting rejected from them. So more than likely I feel pretty confident that both of yours are going to get accepted.
We'll see. We'll see. Ann Philbeck says our local quilt guild has an exhibit at Mid Atlantic Quilt Festival. Awesome.
Oh,
Mine usually do
sweet.
too. Yep. So, in fact, my
That's
quilt
awesome.
guild is bussing people down, but I'm not. We're not going to take the bus, Ian. We're going to load up
Yeah.
my SUV with our bodies and go down ourselves because
Sweet.
I'd rather be able to stop for coffee when I feel like it and
Yes. Yeah.
stop for Tiffany to have a break when she needs it.
Yeah.
Come and go on my own time.
I miss you too, Mary. Mary
Oh,
put
she in the
into the
chat.
chat, hey, Becca and Ian, miss you both terribly. Miss you too.
I'll see
Miss
you
getting to
soon.
hang out with you. Glass Gavin says, I'm in Phoenix, so I'll be looking forward to QuiltCon 2025. I am actually, work is talking about sending me to Phoenix in October of this year. So I will probably be, more than likely, I will be in the Phoenix area later this year. So excited about
Cool.
that.
You'll
Yeah.
have to arrange a meetup for folks that might be out that way.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Uh,
There's a question from Dragonflies for Donna. She said, did you see the new James Pond Legit kit? I did. It's gorgeous. It's like a mallard duck, I think.
oh,
It's a
yeah.
duck. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
cute. It's cute. Looks good.
It does look really cute.
Yeah, and Anne
Um,
said, hope to see you there. So just tossing this out there. Like, I just want to remind everybody that we only know most of you. There's a couple of people that we have already had a chance to meet or we've seen
mhm.
in like Zoom sessions or something, but most of you we only know by your username on YouTube.
Yep.
So I'm just going to put this out there. I love meeting people. I absolutely do. I am a people person. Like don't if you see me, don't be shy. Feel free to introduce yourself, but don't expect me to walk around acting like everybody knows me because I just assume nobody does.
Yep.
So,
Same. Same. Liz says, Ian, I hand sew all of my bindings by hand, and I find it much easier to hold the quilt in my lap. You might want to give this a try. I would feel probably way more comfortable doing that. Like, it would probably be more comfortable for me if I had a couch. And
yeah.
unfortunately, I don't have a couch. So it is pretty comfortable up here on the table for me. It's mostly for the discomfort that comes along with it for me is like having to
The
talon my
claw.
hand, the claw, having to kind of keep my fingers in such a small space. That's what is painful for me. Not so much like where I'm putting the quilt, but mostly just have it. It's such a tiny needle, and I have such long hands.
Going back to the QuiltCon topic for just a moment,
Yeah.
Ian,
Hmm.
one of the things that I'm starting to get from folks is, are you going to arrange a meetup? Where can we find you? And the answer is
Hmm.
yes. And right now, I don't have a date and time locked in, but
Yep.
my thought is to do something similar to what I did last year. Last year, I found about an hour or two on one of the days at QuiltCon where I just bunkered down in an area of the exhibit where there was area to sit, and I could just sit and enjoy people watching. I love people watching. Sit and just
Yes.
enjoy people watching, work on a hand project, and just make myself available so that if people did want to stop by and see me and just sit down and talk or just hang out with me, you knew where to find me. I will do the same
Hmm.
thing this year. It might be
Yep.
one day, it might be every day. I don't know. Right now, off the top of my head, I'm thinking Friday afternoon would be great for that
Yeah.
because so many folks are probably going to be there Friday, maybe not Thursday. I may do that as well on Sunday, the last day, since I'm there as well, but more to come. But all that to be said, I will be out. I will be about. I will be roaming the floor. Like if you're
Mhm.
at QuiltCon, there'll be plenty of opportunity to catch up with me. Feel free to stop me wherever you see me, and we can chat. We can take a picture. We can hang out. I have no problem with that.
Yep. I'm excited to network again. It's going to
Yeah.
be, always a lot of fun.
Yep. Constance says, Ian, your fingertips look really red.
I know. I promise you they're not as red in person as they're picking up on the camera.
Yeah.
They're red, but they're not that red, I promise.
Tiffany
But it
said,
is, again, it's hard to hold that needle for me.
Tiffany said she will have to sit often, so she will be easy to find. That's my thought. Is like, and that I didn't want to say that, but just thinking about the logistics, I don't want it to be fast paced, run everywhere, go, 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 go.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
want to take lots of breaks while we're there, and I know Tiffany's going to need lots of breaks. So I figured like I can just share when we're having a break, sitting down somewhere, and people are welcome to come have a break with us. Oh, there's so much bulk at this one spot.
Mona asked, Ian, did you fall again? I mean, yesterday or today and tomorrow and the day after.
Every day.
I haven't every day. Every
If
day is a fall
if
day
it's a
for
day
me.
that ends in Y,
I
you may
really
have
should get
fallen.
like a permanent bracelet that's like fall risk that they give you at the hospital.
One of those life alerts. I fall.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yep.
Siri's talking to you. I've
I
fallen and
know.
I can't get up.
It's so
Uh,
funny though how many times I fall and yet Siri, the Apple Watch has the fall detection and like 99% of the time it's like boop, 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 didn't even register, nothing.
uh, somebody was asking, Kate was asking, is that where you did your live last year, your pop up live? It
Mhm.
was so cool being at QuiltCon. It was like we were there with you. Yes. And I have plans to capture some of that experience and share it with you in a video. And there are talks that Ian and I and Tiffany will be having about how we can bring QuiltCon to our audiences. So just make sure that you're subscribed, everybody. I think Donna's going to, so she'll definitely be in on that. I know Ian's going to be in on it. Tiffany
Mhm.
will as well. So if you can't go, sad, but you're not going to be left behind.
Nope. I am sure that I will be going live at some point. I don't know if I'll be able to do. QuiltCon is usually a lot tighter of a space.
It
There's
is.
a lot more people. There's a lot of things happening, so I don't know if I'll be able to like go live like I have in the past at quilt shows. But I'm definitely going to try and do at least something, some kind of live, some kind of maybe showing off some of my favorite quilts. I don't know. We'll have to see how it all works out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Danelle said, Ian, me and you both. I just need to invest in bubble wrap for our booties. LOL.
Right. Yep. Yep. It's true.
Frank says, with all the sewers we know, why can't we make Ian a suit of protection? It'd have to be a suit of protection plus 12.
Right. It really would. It really, really would.
Brian Springer says, I also have a love hate relationship with gravity. Oh, that's a great way of putting it. I have
Jenny
a.
Janny said, "Oh my God, I fell not too long ago, and my watch did the alarm thingy, and I couldn't stop laughing." I have definitely set my Apple Watch off a couple of times. I don't, not recently, but I've definitely fallen and have gotten the alert of, hey, do you need to call a medical service? Do you need to alert your emergency contacts? And it's always funny when it does that because I'm just
Oh,
like, no, I'm okay, I'm fine. I'm glad
yeah.
I have it because I would hate to like fall and get really hurt and need medical attention and it not go off, but it's always funny when it happens.
Gen X is asking, is QuiltCon similar to the Houston Quilt Show? I have never been to the Houston Quilt Show, so I can't say. What about you, Ian?
The I haven't been to Houston either. Houston is kind of two events. There's Market, Houston Quilt Market, which is the industry leaders coming together and showing off their new fabric lines, their new products, everything new and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of retailers and stores will go to that show to start ordering and planning for what they're going to be selling in their shops. There is a quilt show that is a part of it, and it is a pretty big one. I have never been, so I can't speak to it, but from the pictures that I've seen, it's fairly similar in that regard, but there's a lot of all kinds of quilts. So it's not just modern quilt, it's traditional quilts, it's Civil War reproduction quilts, it's all the quilts that you can think of. So QuiltCon focuses mainly in that modern section of the quilty world.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Kate is recommending that you invest in a good pair of compression socks and a good pair of walking shoes for QuiltCon.
Yep.
I think I have good walking shoes, but I've heard from more than one person that a good pair of compression socks really helps. I might have to get a pair of those before QuiltCon.
You will definitely be doing a lot of walking for sure. I did a
Oh, yeah.
presentation when I was the president of my quilt guild. I did a presentation on tips for attending QuiltCon, and it was all tips that I had learned from my first year going when it was in Austin, and making sure that you have a snack inside your bag. You can't eat near the quilts. Don't eat near the quilts, but making sure you have a snack in your bag, making sure you have bottles of water, taking those mental brain breaks
Yes.
because you are so overly stimulated with color, pattern, textures, everything. It really gets into your face, and you can get so overstimulated with everything that's happening because it's not only what you're seeing, it's also what you're hearing. You're hearing so
Hmm.
many snippets of conversations as people are walking past you. Your brain gets overwhelmed. So it's good
Yes.
to take a break, walk away, go find that quiet corner for, 5, 10, 15 minutes, reset your brain, and then go back at it. Or go in, do a little bit of the quilts, and then go check out some of the vendor booths, see what's going on
Right.
over at the vendor booths. So it kind of changes the gears in your brain and you kind of get a variety rather than like all the quilts all at once.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's a lot. It gets a lot.
It sounds like Road to California started today.
Yes, it
That's
did.
awesome. That's something I would love to be able to do at one point in the future. We got to make that happen.
Yep. They rejected
Connie,
my quilt.
oh, did they really?
Yeah, I entered the Charm Not Charm
Uh huh.
quilt into that one, and unfortunately, it wasn't accepted into that one. So
Oh, sad.
sad day. Yep.
Sad. Sad. Oh well, more quilt shows for you to do. Several things are coming up in the chat, and I'm trying to keep up with them as they go. Tara says, Becca and Ian, I have never been to a quilt convention. What is your favorite thing or the best benefit that you got out of it? Ian, I'll let you go first.
Seeing what is out there, seeing the patterns that are out there, seeing because
Mm,
there are everybody does a pattern differently. So you can
that's
choose
right.
the fabrics, you can choose the quilting, like everybody does them differently. So even if I see the same quilt that I've seen before, it's done in a different way, and I love that. So I love being able to see the variety and get inspired by them.
Awesome. I
That's what I
think
like.
my favorite thing, so I only went to QuiltCon once. I just went last year. It was my first time. And I had a lot of fun. I spent 4 days with some lovely friends. We made a lot of memories. I definitely bit off more than I could chew. But if I had to say the one thing that I remember the most, it was all the people, meeting all the people.
Hmm.
That was my
Yes.
favorite thing. It was
Yes.
just really nice to be in a place with other quilters who shared the same passion for fabric and quilting that I did, whether they were working a
Hmm.
booth, volunteering, or just there to shop and take in all the quilts. That was my favorite thing.
Yep. I love meeting new people. That's how I got connected with Thread Lines when I went to the Plano Quilt Show. They were a booth in that show, and I got like we had a great chat. They had no idea who I was, and we started chatting and talking, and had a great time. and they ended up seeing. They were like, oh, you know, what quilts do you do and everything, and I showed them some of them, and they were like, wait, we know who you are. And it was really funny because they actually had a picture of my 4-letter banana quilt. They had a picture of it on their
Oh,
phone because they
nuh-uh.
had seen it. Yep, they had seen it in Dallas, and they were like, "Wait, you're the one that made that? That's awesome!" So, yeah, definitely the connections you make at quilt shows are so much fun.
Yeah, actually, I met Angie and her husband DJ last year from Five Little Monkeys at QuiltCon. I I really like they had a booth. I bought some things from their booth. They had a few things that were my monitor just did the thing that it's been doing. I got to reset the cord.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. The I met them and interacted with them a little bit and actually got a chance to have drinks with them. And by drinks, I mean I had a Coke and a dinner that took way too long to come out, but kind
Oh my
of
gosh.
socialized with them afterwards, and
Mhm.
it was great. It was really really great. It was a connection that I got to meet. So
Yep.
yeah. Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, I'm not. It's not like I'm terribly close with them, but I know Angie and she knows me, and we've collabed on a couple of things, and there might be more things that we can do in the future. But that wouldn't have even happened
Hmm.
had I not met her at QuiltCon.
Yep. I'm excited to see some of my quilty friends that I haven't seen. Um, Kitty, the night quilter, I believe, yeah, she's going to be there. Her and her husband are going to be there, so I can't wait to get them hugs. Heather Givens from Crimson Tate. She owns the store Crimson Tate.
Yes.
I am so excited to see her.
Yeah,
She's going to be
I'm going
there.
with you.
Oh,
I'm going
yep,
with you. And I
yep.
feel like I played stalker with her last year. I must have stopped by and tried to talk to her like 100 times. And every time I did, she was super busy because her booth was
Hmm.
very popular, which is great for
Yes.
her. And she was trying to make sure everybody felt loved and
Hmm.
had like was personally welcomed and also run her booth. And so here I
Hmm.
am, this complete stranger, like, hi, how are you? It was a little awkward,
It's
but
all
yeah,
good.
I
It's all
really
good.
liked her. She was
Yeah,
great. She was
she's
great.
the best way I can describe her is if you take rainbows and sunshine and bottle them in human form, you have Heather.
Yes.
Like that is her
Yes.
completely. And I can't wait to give her a ginormous hug. I love her to death and I miss her dearly. And I haven't seen her in person since Austin.
Wow.
Because she didn't go to Phoenix. So I haven't seen her since 2020. So I am super excited to see her.
Somebody's asking me, did you mean Five Little Monkeys in Asheville? Yes, I did. The very one.
Charlotte is asking where QuiltCon is held. It changes every year. This year it's going to be in Raleigh, 2025 in
Right.
Phoenix.
I thought that was
And
one.
yes, Heather did meet me at the Dallas Quilt Show last year.
Oh, the debt-free
Uh,
quilter, Heather?
yep. Hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then Katie is asking, how did you and Ian meet?
Well, see, so this, I was on Instagram. No, I'm kidding. I think I told the story last time. Do you want to tell it this time?
Sure, absolutely. She slid into my DMs. No, just kidding.
I know, I so did. I was like, hey. He was like,
um,
ew, go away.
No, not even close. Um, so the story of how Becca and I met, we were both doing puzzle mystery quilt. We were doing the puzzle mystery quilt, and Cotton Cuts does third Thursday night sew alongs where you can go into the Zoom and everybody who works on the puzzle mystery quilt can kind of get together and sew. And I happened to pop into one of the Thursday night because most of the time I'm at my quilt guild. That's the night my quilt guild meets. So I didn't get to go to very many, but I happened to jump in at a time that Becca was in there, and she had apparently been stalking me, and I didn't realize it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I
But
was.
I love that you admit it. But she had been checking out my YouTube channel because I had been doing some sew along, like not sew alongs, but some of the clues on my channel, sewing them live on my channel. And so she kind of had an idea of who I was and everything. And I kid you not, she kind of fangirled a little bit. I
I
was like,
did.
over me? Over me? Like,
I
what is
did.
happening here? But
did.
we started talking because I randomly messaged her on. I started stalking her and randomly messaged her on Instagram, and I'm like, we're best friends now. We're best friends. Like minutes into the conversation, I'm like, we're friends now. We're friends. We're good. So yeah, that's kind of how we met through Cotton Cuts. Cotton Cuts brought us together. So the Puzzle Mystery Quilt will always have a special place in my heart for
Aw.
all the friendships and fun things that it has brought to my life.
See, they're not just bringing clues together, they're bringing friends together.
It's true. It's true. 100%.
And by the
100%.
way, like I was fangirling for a
Yeah,
minute, right?
for a hot
Because,
minute, yeah. It was cute.
well,
It was cute
it
though.
it was it was it was very inspiring. I was very excited because I was talking to you. You had thousands of subscribers. I was
Hmm.
still relatively new to the whole YouTube world. You had been
Yeah.
doing it for a minute, and you had some videos out there from your paper crafting days that were pretty well received. And
Hmm.
so I was just like, okay, I know who he is. I've seen some of his videos. Like, this is so cool. I felt like I was talking to a celebrity.
Which I'm just like on the opposite end. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know why she's fangirling because it's just me. I barely have anybody on YouTube because at that time I think I was like what 8,000 or something like that.
Eight or,
It
yeah,
was
somewhere around there.
somewhere
Somewhere
around in
around
there, I
there.
think. So I was like, I don't know why she's fangirling because I ain't nobody special, but it's been a wonderful
Oh,
friendship and I love Becca very dearly. So I'm
you're
so
somebody
glad
special
that
to me, Ian.
well, aw, we're just
Aww.
turning this into a love fest and it's not even Valentine's Day.
Oh, no, but
Too funny.
quilting has brought me so many of my good
Hmm.
friends. And
Yeah,
sadly,
absolutely.
none of them live close.
I
Anyway,
know. That's
that's
sad.
okay. But we
That's
have
too bad.
technology, and we
We
have
do.
cars, and we have
We do.
planes, and we have
We do.
trains, and all sorts of ways that we can spend time with them in person.
Yep.
What were you going to say?
I don't even I stabbed myself with the needle, so
Oh, goodness gracious.
yeah, it's
Let's see.
fine.
Let's go back to the chat. Quilting in the Man
Oh,
Cave says we need to go to Jacksonville Quilt Fest. You up for
ooh,
a road trip down to Florida?
always, always.
Always. Has Ian decided to move close to Becca yet?
Not
Well,
yet. Not yet.
I
Surprise, everyone! This is me moving to. No, I'm just kidding.
I no, he's not yet.
No.
I think he's still working out where his journey will take him.
Yep. Still trying to figure
Tracy.
that out and figure out where the best place. I know I'm not a pincushion.
Let's see, what else do we have in the chat? Tiffany's telling people, I love to meet people, but I forget names easily, and I feel bad when I
Yeah.
can't remember it when I run into you again. Yes, same.
Same.
I can remember
Same.
your face, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't always remember your name. And
Yep.
I feel horrible when I'm like, So
Same.
if if that happens, know that
Don't take it personally.
it's not personal. I great with faces, horrible with names. In fact, I call people that I've worked with for years by the wrong name. Have I told you this? I think I may have told you this story. So,
Which one?
oh, this one's hilarious. So I had a team of contractors that I oversaw a few years ago, and we had to go through a disaster recovery exercise. And so part of this exercise meant certain individuals had to pack up and go to a disaster recovery site, and just, you had to run through the exercise. It was like a drill. And so this one team member gets in the car, and it's early in the morning. We knew we were going to have to run through it at a certain hour. We were trying to do it before hours. It was fine. It was early in the morning, like 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I'm getting everybody loaded up. And I walked up to him and I was like, Noah. He was like, he didn't answer, didn't reply, but he was the only one there. And I was like, the car, we're going to meet in like 5 minutes, whatever. I get him together. And then we get in the car all the way to the disaster recovery site, which is like a 45-minute drive. I'm calling him Noah.
Oh, no.
We get to the disaster recovery site. I'm introducing him as Noah. And the whole
Oops.
time he's smiling and shaking hands. And then we get in the car 4 hours later. It is 4 hours later. We get in the car and he's so nice, smile on his face. He leans over to me very politely and says, "You know I'm not Noah, right?" And as soon as he did, I was like, "Oh my God, Scott, I am so sorry."
Oops.
So, listen,
Oops.
I forget people's names.
Yep, I do too. I get real hot, to be honest. I have had people come up to me and I've met them before. Again, part of it is like we only see usernames and
Yeah,
avatars on YouTube, so we don't sometimes get to put the face to the name. But
yeah.
also, I have had people that I know I've met before come up to me and they're like, "Hey, Ian," and I'm like, "Hey, like, please don't ever take that personally. Just remind me who you are. I apologize in advance for that. Just remind me." And yeah, because I like gone, just disappears.
Somebody was asking, I love the line behind you. Tell us the story. It's not finished yet. That is actually what I'm working on now. I'm working on, oh, now you can tell that this is a paw. Ha!
Oh
Anyway,
yeah, look at
working
that.
on working on the last couple rows for it. Hope to have it done at the end of the month. This I will give the full story of what I did and all that other stuff coming soon. But teaser, it is a legit kit. It is the Leo, the lion, I think, or legit lion is what it's called. That's what it is, legit
Yep,
lion. And if you
yep.
look at the original legit kit, the lion was supposed to look like this. You see all the green in the background and the green in the mane? I changed it to look like that, which I think
It's
looks
beautiful.
better.
It looks so good. That the changing out of the background is so good.
Yep. And I changed
Love
out,
it.
I did surgically remove some colors in the mane and the mouth area that I just were like, this isn't going to work for what I have in mind. So
Hmm.
that is that.
Yep.
Mary
Oh, I
Rose
did talk to
Sprague
my
says,
quilter.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I
go
did
ahead.
talk to my quilter last night about you wanting her to do that quilt, and she said that she's happy to chat with you about it.
Perfect. I'm excited. So
Yeah.
my plan for this guy behind me, I've been calling him affectionately, I've been calling him Mufasa because it reminds me of the scene of Mufasa at night with all the stars in the sky. It just reminds me of that scene from Lion King. So, and that's the whole vision that I've been going through. So my plan for Mufasa is once he's pieced, which I am being very meticulous about all the points because I want him to do well.
Hmm.
I want to send him out for show-worthy quilting and try my best to get him on display at as many quilt shows as possible so that you guys can all enjoy how beautiful this is in person. It looks great on camera, but in person, it's love it.
Mm,
I love it. I love it.
it's
So,
beautiful. It's really, really
so
pretty.
I'm
Cannot wait
excited.
to
We'll
see
see
that
what
one done.
happens. Yeah,
Hmm.
we'll see what happens. And this is my last block for row G, which means I can put I've been putting the blocks together as I go. I'm making rows rather than doing it the legit kit way. So I
But
can
you are
start.
living on the edge,
I'm
living
living on
dangerously to do
the
that.
edge. Living on the edge. I'm doing it this way because and it's been working out well for me so far. So I'm going to make my last row and I'm going to put them up there and then I'll be able to work on row H later this
That's
weekend.
awesome.
Yep.
Yay!
Susan says there is a fourth grade girl who is a dead ringer for her older sister. I almost called her by her sister's name, but I stopped just in time.
It's funny.
Yep. 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 Catherine said you will miss Mufasa on his journey. Oh, see, okay. Listen, Andrea is bringing up a topic that I've been thinking about, but I didn't know. So I'd love your intake. I'd love your input, your opinion. You too, Ian, of course. So I took Mufasa from a kit. This is the legit kit kit for their lion.
Mm-hmm.
I use most of the colors that they suggested in the areas, but there were a few areas where I modified. I added a moon to the night sky. I changed out the background entirely. And then I thought about the placement of the colors. And anywhere where there was brown or white or cream or burgundy, I left those the way they were. But if there was a green, I thought about that green and I replaced it with a brown or a red or a gray or a cream of the appropriate shade to keep the lighting the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that was enough change that makes this a unique quilt or if this is still considered like a full kit.
It probably would be because you used most of the kit to do it. So I think most judges, now I can't speak for all judges and I do not speak with an expertise in it. I think most judges would still consider it a kit.
Yeah.
I did have to, when I put this one into the Dallas Quilt Show, I had to list off that this was a kit and it was also a block of the month. So
Yeah.
I had to list it as both for that entry. So um, but yeah, I don't think it's enough. I don't think there was enough originality put into it that it would, but it still looks different. Like if you put this quilt in up against the same exact one that did not change out any pieces, there's still a big difference between the two. So
Yep.
I don't know.
I don't know either. They're asking, is it paper piece? Yes, it is FPP.
Yes.
That is what I'm doing right now. Ripping. So I don't think I am following legit kit's instructions. I am doing this the way that it works for me, and I have no problem with this. This is the way I prefer to do it. As I put my blocks together, I sew them into the quilt. I rip the paper out before I do, and I just line up the points with pins, and that works out better for me than trying to line up the paper.
Yep.
So. Danelle's asking, is there a quilt show in Michigan? Yes, every November. The original sewing and quilting expo goes to Novi.
And then we also got Misty saying, "Love you guys together." I love being with Becca. I wish I was physically. Wait, am I pointing in the right direction to you?
You
I don't
are,
know
you
which
are.
way. Oh, this way.
I
I wish I
no,
was. I wish I was over there.
I do too. But I'll see you in just about a month, and we'll be with Tiffany, and then eventually Mary will show up, and Donna will be there, and Memoirs of a Long Arm Quilter is going to be there,
Mm-hmm.
and I've heard Bathroom Goody Goods is going to be there, and Sean's going to come in at some point. Like, it's going to be a blast. There's going to be so many people that by the time you leave, you're going to be peopled out. Even if you're an extrovert, you're going to be peopled
Right.
out.
Tammy says, "Ian, I'd be just like that because I'd be so excited to see you guys." I think
Oh,
she may be a second or two behind us. She may be like talking about the fangirling that we were
yeah.
talking about a moment ago.
Yep. That's okay. She'll catch up and hear that message eventually.
Yep.
Oh, gosh, come on. Living on the edge. How's your hand stitching coming?
Well, I finally made it all the way around.
Okay.
So I am about to tie this off, and then I am going to start working on the corner pieces and getting
All
them
right.
secured. So getting there,
Very, very cool.
slowly but
Very cool.
surely.
What are you doing on your live on Sunday?
I am actually going live Saturday because I will
Oh,
be
right.
live streaming from Boxcar Quilts. They have opened a
That's right.
new location that I have not been to yet. So I'm going to be live streaming from there and saying hello to everybody at Boxcar. I'm super excited.
I love when people do a live stream from a quilt shop.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm
It's a lot of
excited.
fun.
Laura is a really fun owner. She's the owner of Boxcar Quilts, and I messaged her because I'd done a live stream from her first store a long time ago, and I was like, "Hey, I'd love to do another kind of follow me around video or whatever you want to call it. Would it be okay if I came and broadcast from the store?" And she's like, "Absolutely, I would love that." So she may be there, she may not. I don't know. I didn't hear back from her to know for sure if she's going to be actually in the store or not. But either way, I'm super excited.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Now, is Boxcar Quilt the quilt shop that you're doing the gravity quilt with?
No, that is Threaded Lines.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
How
Yep. So
is Gravity Quilt going?
Gravity is going well. I have cut out month one, and I'm just waiting to sew the pieces of month one together. So far, so good. I'm very excited about that quilt, to be honest. I'm seeing there's a Facebook group for people who are doing that quilt, and I'm so excited to see everybody starting to put their quilts together, or their blocks together, excuse me, not their quilt, but their block. And I'm so excited to work on that one. That's been a project that I've wanted to work on for a long time. And so I'm very, very excited to be working on it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
La, 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 la. I'm trying to catch up with the chat. Yeah, yeah. Donna says, I love the quilt behind you, Ian.
Thank you. This is the Puzzle Mystery Quilt Piazza. Oh, and somebody, I lost track of it, but somebody else was asking when the next Puzzle Mystery Quilt starts. And that starts on February 2nd is when the first clue ships out. So be on the lookout if you ordered the Puzzle Mystery Quilt. And if you didn't, type !PMQ into the chat. That gets Becca's affiliate link, because we are all using affiliate links this time.
That's right.
Type !PMQ into the chat, and then you can sign up for the Tree of Light Puzzle Mystery Quilt, which gets started February 2nd.
That's right. So many pins on this. But I have learned my lesson when joining that it is better to pin your blocks to line everything up, especially if you're ripping the paper out, because some of these cuts can be bias and they can stretch, and you want to make sure that you're not warping your fabric. You'll stabilize everything once you put your seam in, but since I ripped everything out, all the paper out beforehand, I just have to be really careful at this point. I would not recommend this for everybody. No. Oh, Joan's asking, why don't you read that question, Ian?
Let's see. I'm trying to find it.
Have you and Ian received the Tree of Life kit yet?
Oh. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe. Maybe. No, just kidding.
Maybe.
Maybe. We may or may not have recorded something before the live stream.
And that might be why he's here. So you might see a video in the next couple days where we're wearing the same clothes.
It's like magic or something. I don't know.
And only the people that are here tonight will understand why.
Cora asked, with the PMQ, do they send out all of the blocks if you pay in full, or do they still come monthly? If you pay in full, if you pay for the full kit when you order a kit, they will come in one box. You will get one box that has all, I think all 10. The 10th one is a little weird because it's the last one that puts the whole quilt together. So you never know exactly, like, I think they include all the things that you need for Clue 10. What you don't get each month, what you don't get in that first one is the instructions. So you can't work ahead. You don't know what it looks like. You will get those emailed every month. So the fabric comes in one box, but your clues get emailed to you every month.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Debbie says, Becca, I like how you line things up with the pins and then the clips. I'm going to give that a try next time. Honestly, it's a game changer for me. Please do. I hope it works out for you.
Yeah, I do that too. It really helps out a lot.
Nancy said, you two love having secrets.
We do.
Don't worry, we're going to let you in on the secret in just a couple days. Stay tuned.
Yep.
Ian, when are you dropping that video?
I don't know. We have to talk about this.
We haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah, we haven't
realized, I was like, oh, I
decided.
can't tell them when it's going to hit because we want the
Nope.
video. We're each going to have a video on our channel. I can tell you that much. It's going to
Hmm.
be a short video, not like shorts, just
A
small,
short
not
video.
long.
Yeah.
Right. It's only going to be a couple minutes long. And we're going to reveal the colorways that we picked out for each other in a video with both of us on screen. But Ian's going to show on his channel his colorway, and I'm going
Hmm.
to show on mine my colorway. So you'll have to watch both videos, and we want them to go at the same time. And then we'll, of course, link to each other's videos in the description box and all the things so that you can find the other video very easily.
Yep. Catherine, this is the one where we chose each other's colorways. You are correct
Yes,
on that. So we
yes,
will
yep.
finally reveal which colorway we gave to each other and if we like it or if we don't. And I believe I saw that VR's birthday is coming up in tomorrow, maybe. So happy birthday, VR.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Oh,
birthday
gosh. All right, Marilyn.
to you.
Patty's asking, can you show what you mean by line up the
Mhm.
pins and the clips?
Yep.
And I will in a moment. I showed that a little bit earlier, but I will show it again. But Mary Jane is also asking, Becca, what are you applying to your seam allowance? So this is the Acorn Easy Press Pen. It is a pen that just has starch in it. I just put some Best Press in here, and I apply that to my seam allowance to get my seams nice and flat. And then after I'm done, I set my clapper on it with FPP. You got lots of bulk in those seams, so I want every seam to be as flat as possible. So I
Hmm.
do this every single time I take a seam. I starch the seam, I press it, and I put a clapper on it, even if it's only 2 pieces of fabric. And the result is clap on, clap off. VR's birthday is today, by the way. The result
Oh, okay.
is this. Look at that. Look how flat that is.
It's
So, and
flatter than Paris Hilton's butt.
I actually do
But
see that this is up here off by a couple of hairs, so I'm going to fix that, but not right now because everything else is spot on. Uh,
happy birthday
so
today, VR.
they were asking what I meant by I'm going to go to the overhead view. They'll still hear you, but they're just going to
Yep.
see me. So what I'm
Bye,
talking
everyone.
about, oh, sorry, that was not the last block. I have G6 to do. Doggone it.
Oh, man.
This is killing me. All right, so what I was talking about with lining these up is, let's just say, and this is not even close, but I'm going to put my pieces together so the paper is outside and the fabric would be on the inside. And what I do is I take a pin and I poke it through in the corner, and I get that pin in the corner of the piece underneath, and it does take a bit of finagling to get it there. But there's registration marks on your FPP pieces that you can use to line things up. And I'll put the pins all the way through wherever the fabric intersects or wherever there's a corner. But when I say I do the pins and line it up, I line it up by making sure that the pin is just hanging straight up and down. I don't want it to be off to one side. I want it to be straight up and down. Every one of those pins, I want to be straight up and down. And I'm really careful to make sure that they're like that. And then I come in with a clip and I'll put a clip next to that pin. And then if there's one here, I'd put one next there all the way on until the entire seam has pins and clips. And then I pull the pin out and I pick this up and take it to my sewing machine and sew it. That's what I
And then you
mean
throw it.
about, and then I throw it. Yep. 99% of the time it works for me. Sometimes I get a piece that is just a little wonky, a little off, and in that case, or a little hard to get together, in that case, what I'll do is take it to my sewing machine and I'll turn my stitch length up to a 6 and I'll sew all the way down and make sure that everything did line up together. And if it did, then I'll go back to my sewing machine and as I'll pull those stitches out a few at a time and re-sew with that shorter stitch length. So.
Yep, yep, yep.
But
All that.
I do have a couple of spots on this one, sadly. And this is the thing, like this is a show quilt, so I will probably fix this. But do you see the two areas where these two blocks join together and they don't perfectly match up? Is it this side? Yes, it is this side. There's two spots.
I can't see from my monitor, so
I'm going to do it in
I
the
can't tell.
overhead. Okay, I'm going to do it in the overhead, and I will fix it for you so that you can see my overhead too. Hold on. Can you see my overhead camera now?
Yep, I sure can.
So this, oh, let me turn it around so you have the right thing. This is,
Oh, yeah, I do see it.
yeah, you can see the
Yep,
one, right? But that's
yep,
also zoomed way in. So there's a couple of
yeah.
spots like right here. This
Mm-hmm.
is needs to be fixed, and this area up here needs to be fixed. But this is spot on. This is pretty good. So this is not like I wouldn't want to enter into a show
Ouch.
this way. So I will rip this part, reline that back up and resew it, and I will rip this part and reline that back up and sew it. So,
Yep.
but I'm not going to do that tonight.
I am really having to censor myself because I just freaking stabbed myself
Oh
again and I almost
no.
yelled a four-letter word on your channel.
Don't do that, Ian. Don't do
Nope.
that.
Nope. But I actually
Goodness.
like I flexed the needle as I moved my thumb out of the way. So I was like, oh, that's real great. So,
Eh, oh, eh. Much less shifting with that process. Yep.
yep.
Janine says, I've been listening while fussing with my long arm, heading home now. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Hello, Janine, and goodbye, Janine.
Hello, goodbye.
Hello, hello, goodbye. VR says, thanks everybody for the birthday wishes. It was an amazing day.
Good. I'm so glad.
Debbie Fleming, these are available at Fat Quarter Shop. I do have an affiliate link in the description box down below. It won't cost you anything, but if you use that link to load the Fat Quarter Shop website instead of just typing it in, it'll help me earn a small commission. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Help
If you're
support
going to
Becca
shop,
and her YouTube amazingness.
yeah, if you're going to shop, why you can use that. Let's see. Da, da, da.
Shelly
Ian, you
Shelly
are
says
color.
I suspect
Ha! Go ahead.
Shelly Shelly says I suspect I'll be making my own birthday dinner and cake tomorrow. LOL. I took out the roast beef and bought a cake mix and canned frosting. Kids are out of town. We didn't get to do much for Hub's birthday. Well, I hope you have a wonderful birthday, Shelly, even if you have to cook your own birthday dinner. That's why they make DoorDash. You can DoorDash yourself something.
I may have seen Ian DoorDash donuts and cake.
Yep.
This may have happened.
Yep.
Maureen McCullen a while ago said, Ian is color coordinated with his quilt behind him. Because you kind of are.
I am
You
very.
are,
I
yeah.
am. Yeah. I got the light blue. I got the dark blue. This has gold in it, so that's the only difference. But yeah, I am definitely. And I did see that comment a while back in the chat.
Oh, goodness. I'm
Lost track of
yawning.
chat.
Sorry.
It's not
Uh,
even 10 o'clock there.
it's been a long week. It's been a long week. Jill just asked, have you ever tried basting stitch at some of those joints before doing the final stitching? Yep, just talked about that. I didn't do it
Mm-hmm.
this time. Had I done it that time, it would have saved me a lot of pain. But what I have been doing, since I ripped the paper out, I don't have any paper to rip, I do change my stitch length up to a 2 when I join the blocks together, so it's not going to be completely horrible to rip. Oh, thank you, Mary.
Shelly
Mary
says I'm
dropped
too
my
frugal to
pin.
DoorDash.
Oh,
Nice.
DoorDash, like, you can order something
They're a
from
lot.
McDonald's. Yeah, and like the price of the food is just marked up, and then you
Yeah.
pay the delivery
Yeah.
fee and then the tip. It's
Yeah.
expensive. It's
It
expensive.
does get expensive. It is very expensive. That is why I do not do it that often.
And Kelly says, "Thanks, Becca. Now I am thinking of door dashing a Blizzard from Dairy Queen. Mom,
Mm.
I would like a Blizzard, Mom. Like, please." Oh my gosh, Cora says we
Oh.
got over 25 inches of snow today. Don't think DoorDash was out and about.
Oh my goodness. I have never seen that much snow ever. Ever, ever, ever.
That's a lot.
Jewel is asking, "What are you doing, Ian?" This is the Legit Kits color vortex that I'm working on. I am currently working on the back side of the quilt. This quilt has been faced, which basically means that the front of the quilt has been wrapped around to the back and glued down, and now I'm sewing it down tacking it down and making it a permanent. So instead of putting the binding on that basically sandwiches everything in, it's just wrapping you sew a piece of whatever color. I use the backing fabric so it would match, but it basically just folds the quilt over so that way it has no frame around it. It's basically frameless is what it makes it.
Did I tell you that I finally got my vortex pieced?
No, you didn't. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's hanging up on the long arm
Yay!
rack. It is waiting to be quilted.
Sweet.
So I'm really excited about
Sweet.
that. Linda's asking, how is Mary settling in? I got in late and have had to be in and out of the room until just a few minutes ago, so I apologize if you already gave a Mary report.
No
No,
worries.
actually, I haven't really given a detailed Mary report, but I did mention just a little bit. So Mary is actually in the chat, so y'all can
Mm-hmm.
you can tag her too. She is in her new home. She is settling in, and I am sure she is loving it. But I am also positive that she is missing me and Ian and all of her family and friends up here. So, um,
Yep.
new life started. Seems happy. Nothing else to report as of yet.
Getting settled in. Getting
Yep.
settled in because that's a lot to move, pick up your life and move it from one state to another.
Oh gosh, yeah. I did that in
Yeah.
2005. I moved from Michigan to Virginia. It was a lot, but it was made easier because I basically downsized everything and left a
Yeah.
lot of stuff behind and just restarted. It made things a much easier. Also, I had a place to crash when I moved to Virginia while I was getting on my feet and finding a job and everything. So I stayed
Yep.
with my mom. It was only for a week or two, but it was nice to have a place to land while I was figuring everything out.
Definitely.
Mary says, hi all. I am moved in my house, but still unpacking. Yes, I am very lonely at the moment.
Mm,
If I could come and spend the weekend with you, I would, but you're a little too far for
right.
that.
Do y'all want to see a secret that this quilt has?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see here.
I'm
I
going
gotta
to
get it.
make
I gotta
you
figure out which one it
focus
is.
so you're
Okay,
widescreeny and they
there
can
it
see
is.
your entire shot.
Perfect. All right, so I gotta get it figured out. Oh, I'm about to knock everything onto the floor, which is great. All right, so this looks like your typical quilt, right? Like it's your typical normal quilt. But if I do this, da, 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 da. All right. So if I do this, can you hear that?
Yes. Is your quilt beeping?
So it is beeping. My quilt is beeping because there is an AirTag hidden in this corner of my quilt. It is there's a little when you face quilts, you have to have kind of a cover over your corners to help bring
Uh-huh.
everything together. And this corner, this pocket holds my AirTag in it. So this
That's
quilt
awesome.
will have an AirTag in it, so that way I can keep trace of it as it's going from show to show. And I do have a video where I talk about putting a AirTag into quilts. So I will be on the lookout for that.
Well, while you're sitting there with the screen all to yourself, enjoying the entire real estate, why don't you, if you don't mind, you've been working so diligently on that, can you show everybody
Yeah,
what Vortex looks like?
absolutely.
And get a
Absolutely.
sneak
Let
peek.
me move the chair. Oh, everybody gets a shot of my pajama pants tonight.
Don't worry,
Let's see
I'm wearing my
here.
friend's pajama pants. It's totally fine.
All right, this is the top. It does have threads everywhere, so excuse those, but
Sure, they won't come up on
this
camera.
is
You'll be okay.
what it's looking like.
Yeah.
So, and then
Oh, so pretty.
it's beautiful. My quilter, Nancy, the very thoughtful quilter on Instagram, she did an amazing job on it. And I love it. I love this quilt so much.
It was
And I
nice how
love,
she added the circles.
yeah, so the circles really help kind of give it that depth as they're kind of floating into the vortex itself. So I
Yeah,
really love how it turned out. And then the back, I love this backing fabric. I think it fits so well with this quilt.
it does. Lots of
So,
comments in the chat. Wow, that's gorgeous. Love the quilting. Cool, Ian. Be careful, you're wearing your jammy pants. Don't fall. Wow, Ian,
right.
that's beautiful. Be careful, Ian.
Don't fall. Yup.
Lori said, now I want to start piecing mine together.
Yeah.
it's
It's a
it's actually
beautiful
pretty easy.
quilt.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I liked it. I
Yep.
I was part of the testing group for that, and
Hmm.
I finished it way after everybody else.
That's all right.
Everybody else had theirs pieced months ago, and I just finished piecing mine.
That's okay. That is
It's okay.
a-okay. I'm over here trying to fold it, so I'm trying to get it reeled back in so that way I can sew some more on the corners.
Kate says
I
a
still
fellow
have to do the
YouTuber
freaking
calls her
slat.
pajama. Kate says a fellow YouTuber calls her pajama pants her night pants. I like that.
Hmm.
Lori, Lori said, beautiful. Now sit down.
True story.
Sure. So Katie's asking if I can show what the QuiltCon app looks like. Sure, why not? I'm going to
Hmm.
go to the overhead view. Ian, do you want to see this too?
No, no, no. You can go ahead.
Okay. So I'll go to the overhead view. I'm going to open up the phone and I will show you. There we go. This is what the QuiltCon app looks like. If you have this from last year, you'll want to delete that app and reinstall it just to make sure you have
Yep.
everything set up correctly. And then when you go to log in, you're going to use the email address that you registered for QuiltCon with, and you're going to use the passcode that they put in an email to you to get registered. You're going to hit create account, put in your email address, and put in that passcode that they sent to you. And then when you open it up, zoom out just a little bit so you can see the full screen. There we go. So when you open it up, you'll have this screen that shows you kind of everything that you're going to be able to do. You can tap on up here for the full schedule. This will bring up all of the schedules and you can browse either by day, instructor, lectures, workshops, or special events. You can look at your scheduled favorites. So if there's something in one of the days, you can just star it and I'll show you what that looks like. So if I go to the full schedule and I'll just say browse by day and I'll go to Friday and I'll just pick something at random. Oh, quilt labels to love. This looks like a great thing that I don't want to miss. So when I open this up, down at the bottom, I can tap favorite. And when I do, it'll add it to my favorites. And also there's an area right here where you can take notes. You can also tap on speakers to learn about who's speaking, and you can see all their social media and all of the other things that they're doing at QuiltCon as well, so you can follow them. When you go back to that main menu, you'll be able to tap on Vendor Hall, and this is what's going to give you a map of the entire convention area, I guess. On one side, you're going to have all of your vendors. Then in the middle, you're going to have your concessions and your demo stage and some quilts over here. And then on the left-hand side, you're going to have all of your quilts. And the neat thing about this is you can see when you zoom in exactly which vendors are going to be at each booth. Sometimes they have their logo, sometimes it's just some words, and you can tap on that booth to learn more about them. They'll start filling in more information as it comes up. But you
Hard
can
to believe that it's
also,
only 30-ish, 30, wait, I have the countdown on my, we're 32 days, 22 hours, and 21 minutes away.
not that you're counting, but
Not that I'm counting.
the other neat thing that you can do is if you go down here to vendor list, how did I get there? Vendor hall, maybe? Booth list right here. So you go to vendor from the main menu, you go to vendor hall, and then down at the bottom you can do booth list. You can search for a specific vendor. You can just look through them. They're all listed here. And if there's one that you're like, oh, you know what? I really want to make sure I prioritize that booth. You can tap on the little star next to it. And then when you go back to the vendor hall, you'll see over here on my map, some of these booths are yellow. That's because I favorited them and I want to make sure I hit them. So that's kind of fun
Don't
there
hit
too.
them.
Well, you
They
know what I
wouldn't like
mean.
that.
You can
You can
also
spend money
message.
at them.
Um, you can also send messages to people. So if you meet somebody at QuiltCon and maybe you didn't get their contact information, or maybe you don't want to give your contact information, but you just want to keep up with somebody while you're there, you can send messages to people. So if I tap messages down here, this is where they'd all be. But you can also see who's going to QuiltCon or who's registered in the app. So I can go down here. And wait, where do I get that? I'm literally teaching you on the fly. So I have to remember where it comes in at. Do you remember where I see the attendees at, Ian? I can't remember off the top of my head. Last year was at the bottom, I
Um,
thought.
I don't remember. I'm looking. I pulled up my app as
Oh, find
well.
app users. It's right here, right in the middle. It says
Oh, there it
find
is.
app users. When you tap on that, you'll see everybody that has registered in the app, and you can search for them too. So I can search for Oh, look, there's Ian. I'm gonna favorite him. And now he's in my group, he's in my favorites. So when I go back, I can I'll be able to see my attendees that I favorited. So this is just people that are in my contact list. And if I want to message him, I can tap on that. I can hit message down at the bottom and be like, "Boo," and I'll send that to him. And now he'll get that on his end, and we'll be able to have a conversation back and forth. So that's kind of just in a nutshell how you use the, oh, look, I got a bubble. It tells me I have a message from Ian. And look, he said, hey, friend. So here's the whole conversation. That's a neat way that you can kind of keep in touch with people. I went too far back. The one more thing that I feel like I've had people ask, and I feel like I'm going to need to clip this out to give you guys, oh, that'll be my tech tip video for next week.
There you
Ooh,
go.
yeah, I'm going to redo this video. So if you missed it, there you go. Um, yeah, I should redo this video. So anyway, the other thing that you can do is update your profile. And I'm trying to remember how I did that. I can't remember exactly where it was. Oh, settings. I bet it was in settings. No, 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 no. I don't know where it is. It's in here somewhere. It might also be like, I might be able to get to it by going to the attendees list and tapping on myself. So I'm going to try that. So I'm going to go to find app users. I'm going to type in my own name. There I am. I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know how to. Oh, look, you can add them as a contact. And you can favorite them. That's cool. There's a way that you can update your profile, and I'm literally trying to figure this out on my own. So I'm
Hold on.
not gonna.
It's if you
Oh, nope.
nope, that's not it.
Just kidding.
Oh, nope. Uh, wait. I did this.
Right?
How did I do this?
I know, I did too.
You okay? It's the hamburger menu on the right. It's the gear on the left, and then scroll down to edit my info.
Oh gosh. Okay. So let me show you
Yep.
that one more time from the main menu. Goodness gracious. Thank you, Shelby.
I
She's
know they
telling me to.
bury it in.
They shouldn't do that. Like this needs to be user friendly.
They really
Hamburger
bury
menu
it
in the
in there
upper
for you.
right, gear icon on the pop up, scroll all the way down to edit my info, and this is your profile information. If you tap on this, you can upload a photo. You can choose take a photo, or you can choose get photo from your library. And then if you tap on that, then you can grab a picture of yourself or somebody else. And maybe I don't want to do a crazy picture of me. So, oh, spoiler alert, that's what I looked like in junior high. You're welcome. Oh, there's me with Joey McIntyre. So there's that. And I literally, oh, there's me with Donnie Wahlberg. There's me with Donnie Wahlberg. Oh, look, there's me marrying Ian. You know what? The picture I have is fine. We're going to leave the picture I have. But you can put fill in all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And then you can, that last screen that came up, you can decide whether or not that profile is shared with other people. So you can keep it private if you would like. I hope that helped.
And it also has the QR scanner in there as well. Different booths will have the QR scanner that you can use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lots to do in the app, that's for sure. I wanted to point out, let's see, where did it go? Andrea's comment, she said, hearing aids just died. Thank you, Becca, so much for having the captions on.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So I'm so happy that YouTube gave us the option to do that. And I try really hard to remember to turn that on for all of my live streams. So I wish I could set that to be a default for my live stream, but unfortunately I have to turn it on for each individual video. But it's important to me. I'm not hard of hearing, nor am I obviously deaf. However, I process audible audio better when I can read it as well. So every screen in my house, you can ask Mary and Ian, I turn closed captions on everything, and it drives some people crazy, but that's just how my house is. So we are, I would say we're probably a hard of hearing, I can't remember the sign for it, but I think we're a hard of hearing friendly home.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
It's H and H.
That. Yeah.
H.
Mm-hmm. And then deaf is what from the ear down, like deaf. Deaf and heart, like I don't remember.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think deaf is from like D from your ear down.
Yep.
I'm not fluent in ASL, but I do know a few signs, and I wished I was fluent in it. Like that's the one thing I really wished I could do. I can finger spell, and I've taught Zoe how to finger spell. If she gets really excited, she'll be like, because this is like, hey, I'm trying to get your attention and sign. So she'll be like this, and then she'll try to spell out the words. But then when I spell back to her, when I finger spell back to her, it's too fast for her to keep up with. Mm-hmm. So I have to be like, and then she'll nod, and I'll be like.
Same way for me. When I took ASL in college, I took 4 semesters as my foreign language because we had to have a foreign language credit. And I took ASL, and it's come in handy. When I worked at the Science Museum, I always enjoyed being able to try and converse with deaf or hearing impaired people. I wasn't great at it, but I would see them signing in the exhibit halls, and I would never want to insert myself into the conversation or anything like that, but I wanted them to know like that I was trying and that I didn't have like fluent skills, but I could at least somewhat manage a conversation. And so if there was an opportunity for me to be able to indicate that I knew a little bit of sign, I would. I had one person come up to me and he I don't remember who it was, but I think it was he came up to me and he was trying to vocalize what he was saying, but it was hard to understand what he was saying. But he was also kind of he didn't think that I knew sign language, but he was still kind of doing some signs with his hands as well, and he was actually looking for the elevator, which I knew the sign for elevator, and I was like, oh, and he was like, oh, okay, and like we were able to kind of talk for not very long. I pointed to where I got him to the elevator where he needed to be, but it was a great skill to kind of pull out of my back pocket and be like, oh, okay, all right, we can do this, we can make this happen.
Yep. I had, um, when I first moved to Virginia, the young adults group that I was a part of at church was led by a guy who had watched ASL in church
Mhm.
services and was fascinated by it. And one of his friends was a speech pathologist. She was studying speech pathology at school. And so they would practice it. He would learn and
Mm.
try and pick up things. I don't know if he was fluent, but he would try to do, he would pick up a few things. And so because of that, I learned a few signs, and then we learned a
Mhm.
few more when we got custody of Justice because he's nonverbal, and that
Mhm.
was an easy way that we could help him communicate with us. He's not fluent in ASL either, but the one thing that I did find really handy was finger spelling because
Mhm.
it's super slow.
Yep.
But if I encounter somebody who's hard of hearing or deaf, I can at least finger spell what
Yes.
I'm trying to say. Although I
Yep.
would argue that it's probably faster for me to type it on the phone and just show it to them.
But it shows that you're trying, and that's
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that I had when I was working at the museum. It showed that I was making the attempt to try. I was doing my absolute best to. I wanted to accommodate them. I wanted the accessibility to be there. I wanted them to feel as incorporated into the conversation as possible. And I think that really, when you show that kind of like wanting to include and wanting that to happen, I think
Yep.
it goes a long way. At least I feel that it does. I cannot speak from that, but I feel like it does show and kind of, yeah. One funny story about finger spelling. I was working at a theme park, and I did their Halloween uh, stuff, and so I was dressed up as a zombie. I had the full makeup, blood, like everything. I looked like I was a zombie. And my job the last year that I worked at the theme park for Fright Fest was, and I just gave away which park it was. Um, if you know what Fright Fest is, you know what theme park brand I'm talking about. But anyways, I was at Fright Fest. My job was to be at the front gate. It was a faux radio station, and we were playing music. We would play games. We basically were the entertainment barkers at the front of the park. And so I literally at points, there was a 12-hour shift every Saturday where we're standing up there and talking, and just like we had to find ways to entertain ourselves because it is 12 hours. So I am full zombie. I'm sitting up on the stage, just kind of looking through the crowd, seeing what's going on, surveying and all that kind of stuff. I'm kind of bored. And all of a sudden I see this I think she was probably like young teenager and her mom, and they're going through the sign language alphabet, so they're signing and going through all of the letters, and I'm just kind of observing them and watching them, and I see her kind of stumble on the girls kind of stumbled on she couldn't remember what the next sign was. And so I started, I don't remember which letter it was, but I started signing. I did the fingerspell sign for it. And they kind of looked over at me and were like, huh? And I was like, ah. And so like we went through the rest of the alphabet together. So it's kind of funny that that's like a core memory now, but it was really funny. This zombie is sitting there fingerspelling with these people, and they were hearing as far as I can recall, but it
Yeah.
was really funny to do that.
Andrea said, "You're making me cry happy tears. I often feel left out or ignored when I'm trying to understand. Thank you so very much." Listen, all inclusive. Like, I don't
Hmm.
ever want anybody to feel left out, alienated.
Absolutely.
I'll do the best I can to include everybody. Everybody is always welcome. Uh, Sadly, I know that there's going to be some things that I can't do, but if there's
Yeah.
something simple like setting a setting on the channel so that people can feel included, absolutely, I'm going to do that. I wish, like, and I will say, like, when it comes to ASL and sign language and all that, even if you're not hard of hearing or deaf, it's so nice to know at least just a few, not even just to help out other people, but to help yourself out. I can't
Hmm.
count the number of times, like, when you're out with, we do it all the time now, but if you're out with somebody and you're across the room from them, right? And you got to go to the restroom, you're just Show them the sign. They know like all you gotta do is put your hand up. So we used a lot of that stuff. It yeah it it came in handy. Came in handy. So I wished I would have been able, or I wished I would have taken it. And part of me would
Hmm.
love to just buckle down and be like, okay, I want to take like a year where I just learn it. But what I worry about is if I don't have somebody to practice it with.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I've lost most of my knowledge because I was doing it. I literally took 4 semesters straight in a row. And so I kind of immersed myself in it. And as soon as all 4 of those classes were over with, I've lost a lot of it. I know toilet, I can get to a toilet. I know that one. I know my finger spelling alphabet, and I know a few other, elevator, things like elevator, excuse me. And I know a few other like that, but I've lost most of it, which really makes me upset because it was so nice to be able to converse. And we had one of the requirements of my first 2 semesters is we would have to do either a video assignment or we could spend you had to spend 1 hour each week in uh, basically deaf chat, and it was held at a coffee shop, and you would go to the coffee shop and there were some deaf people, and so they would kind of help mentor and teach you, and you were conversing with them, and it was this really great integration of learning, and everybody was really patient, and if you had to ask them to re- do it again, do that again, I can't tell, I know how to say do it again because I had to do this over and over and be like, again, slowly. Like,
Yeah.
I needed that. I needed that, and it was such a wonderful, wonderful kind of exposure, immersive kind of environment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Wendy says there are tons of vlogs out there to watch and practice ASL. Yes, I've actually watched some of them. There's a gentleman who I believe he's deaf. Deaf. Look, I said it and did the sign because I remembered him
Mm,
doing it. His girlfriend or wife, I don't know if they're married now. I think they were just dating at the time, but were living together. She was not hard of hearing or deaf. She didn't know sign language when they met, and he can read lips and he can make words. He's learned how to do that because apparently, this is where we're just going to get political, so we'll just say this and then sidestep it. But apparently, society requires you, when you have a disability, to assimilate to the rest of society. Anywho, um,
yep.
yeah, so he can do all of those things, and she started learning how to sign from him, and they converse that way. So I've watched their vlogs. I love watching their vlogs, and it's kind of soothing because he purposefully will not talk in his vlogs.
Mhm.
He signs all of it, and she will sign with him, and sometimes she will speak while she's signing, but they
Mhm.
always take extra care to turn on the closed captions and then go an extra mile and edit the closed captions,
That's
because
awesome.
sometimes the closed captions that you see on my channel, they're automatically generated by YouTube. I don't take the time to put them there. I don't have that time to do. And generally, most of the time, they're pretty close. But you can tell when you're watching closed
Hmm.
captions all the time when somebody took the extra minute to put things in there like
Yep.
capitalization, punctuation, and fixing the words that came through a little wonky. I've done that for a
Hmm.
few of my videos, but I don't do it for all of them. They do it for theirs. And I was like, man, the amount of like, just hats off to them. Hats off to them. So anyway, all
Yep.
that to say, if you watch somebody do it long enough, especially while they're talking, you can pick up a little bit more of that. So I've caught a few of those.
Yep.
I've caught a few of those. Andrea also says, I have a card with the finger spelling alphabet that I carry. I can email you a copy so you can share if you want. Sure, I'll take one.
Oh, nice.
In fact, I will give it to my daughter because
There you go.
she's super interested in being able to do that. Karen is asking a quilt question. Was Vortex a block of the month? And if so, how many months?
Yes. Yes, it was. It was 12 months and it was a block of the month. But like Becca said, we got to test it. And so we got all of our months up front and got to finish it. I got to finish mine early.
Yes. And it's still going on, but you can't sign up for it anymore. I think it'll
Yeah.
wrap in May of 24.
Yep.
Another comment for you. Noni Noons said, my kids learned to sign in school. During a hockey game, my kid dropped the gloves and everyone expected a fight, but instead, the two players actually started signing to each other.
Oh my gosh, that's
Was that great?
amazing. I love that.
Yep. So, Ian, can you
Love
believe
that.
it's 10 o'clock?
What? Well, I mean, for you it is.
Well, I mean, can you
I
believe it's
still have
9
another hour
o'clock?
before 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
I know this time with you flies every single time.
I know, but it's always a blast. And it's
It
nice to have
is.
somebody to talk with while you're working on things. I'm done
Yep.
sewing for the night. I don't know if anybody caught this, but I kind of looked over to the left and you heard a little bit of background noise for just a moment. My husband came in and did his rounds. Ian knows exactly what I'm talking about. My
Yes, I
husband
do.
has a routine he does every night. He locks all the doors, and now that it's winter, well, I don't know why he closes the blinds all the time. Well, this is a debate we have in our home, but now that it's winter, he definitely makes sure to do it because keeping the blinds closed keeps the heat in. Does it? I mean, does it really? I don't know. Whatever. So he came in, locked up the door, pulled the blinds, and that's my signal that he's heading up to bed, which means I should be heading up to bed. So thank you, friends, for hanging out with Ian and I. Make sure to stay tuned to both of our channels this week because sometime over the course of this week, won't tell you what day, we'll both be dropping our video to tell you all about which colorways we got. So we officially know right now, but we're not saying anything. So you'll have to tune back in to find out.
Yep.
I don't think I have anything else next week. If Mufasa's not done, I'm going to keep working on it. And if it is done, I'll find something else to get into. I hope you guys will join us then. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Okay. Okay, I know.